Starting a new YouTube channel at 61 years old has definitely been an interesting journey. You see, over the last few weeks, one of my videos really took off, and a few of my videos did pretty well. And my last video completely flatlined. You see, I believe looking at these two videos, I've learned a lot, and I hope that sharing what I've learned may actually help some other small channels. So in this video, I'm going to jump right into YouTube Studio, and we're going to take a look at what happened, why I think it happened, and what I'm going to try next. That's where you come in. If you stick around to the end, I'm going to discuss my vision for this series of videos and how I believe small channel creators can actually help each other. Let's jump right in. Okay, so if we hop into YouTube Studio, I started my channel about 3 months ago, shortly after I retired. And you can see if I go down into my analytics, so I'm on my channel dashboard, and if I go into the analytics, and I'm going to look at the lifetime of the channel. So since I started back in, well, on January 1st, that was when I put out my first video about being 61 and retiring. Since that time, I've published, this is my 10th video. And you can see from a views perspective, I think this is pretty good. I've got over 13,000 views, and I've got 1.3 thousand watch hours and 235 subscribers. So thank you, subscribers. Definitely, I am a small channel just getting started, but I've been pretty happy about my growth. So in terms of monetization, which is definitely a goal, I'm not obsessing about it. It's more of a milestone for me. You can see I'm about a quarter of the way there. So for 10 videos over about an 11-week period, I'm pretty happy. What I wanted to look at though is if we go and look specifically, so I'm going to scroll down, and you can see pretty quickly this video is the standout I'm talking about. So sorted on views, this video right here has actually already gotten let's see what the latest count is. 8,999 views. Can someone just do one more view? Maybe we can just tick this up over 9,000. With that many views in this period of time, you can see the growth has been pretty consistent. And I did try a few things when I created this video. One was I put a lot of thinking into the thumbnail, some of the wording on the thumbnail, and I did do some research to see what search terms might help, especially in the title, and that was where I put my focus. So it appears that that paid off. So this video alone, like I said, big contribution to the channel. You can see approaching 9,000 views. The watch time, almost 1,000 hours of my watch time comes from this video. And 92 new subscribers. Again, thank you. So what do I think happened here that was different than some of my other videos? Well, let's go take a look at the reach. This is data I like to look at a lot on this channel. So what I think happened here is definitely the impressions skyrocketed. So between some of the searches that folks were doing that brought them to the video, and then I believe a pretty decent thumbnail, got a okay click rate. This isn't fabulous. I've actually had other videos with a higher click rate, but it didn't have the combination of impressions and click rate that this one does. So what was driving those impressions? Again, search for sure. The title, I Retired Early, that grabs attention. And the concept of not waiting in the thumbnail, I think brought it all together. The third thing that I really look at when I'm analyzing my videos after they go live is the engagement. And so for that, I like to come over to this screen. And if you come down, this is something that experienced YouTube creators talk about a lot. So you can look, this zone right here, that's the first 30 seconds of your video. This video, actually right now, it's just doing a little bit above typical or right at typical according to YouTube. So it's 64% still watching. That's pretty good. I'll say that has ticked down over the last few weeks. It's the more this video is getting seen, I think maybe the audience is getting a little more varied and people are dropping off. That's part of it. At one point, that engagement, that retention rate for the first 30 seconds was up over 70%. So there you have it. I think that was the magic on this video. Title with a good search, a thumbnail that drew people in to want to click. And when they did, they saw content that was what they were expecting and that kept them engaged. And I did, as part of my early experiments, put a lot of effort into re-editing the first 30 seconds of this video just to try and tighten it up and get a lot of information in there. Okay, so that leads to the video that didn't do so well. So let's come back to the channel analytics. So when I come down here, so this video, completely different story. 109 views, so it's actually ticked up a little bit just in the last few minutes, a couple of views. But overall, this is what I meant when I said flatlined. So just to be clear, as a small channel, I know 9,000 views isn't, the most amazing thing that's ever happened, but it's way out of line with some of what's been happening on my other videos. And then this one, after I had seen most of my videos kind of bouncing around and, with steady growth, to see this just go flat after less than 2 days, well, really, I guess about a couple of days, that was it. And since this time back here, on March 10th, so that's 4 days ago, in the last 4 days, this video has barely gotten any attention. So let's look at the same stats, and you can see the watch time. And thank you, 3 subscribers. Somebody, whoever liked this video, I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I know there's different ways to look at this. It's just interesting to me because a lot of the things I said about the last video, I actually tried on this video too. So I put a fair amount of effort, a lot of effort into this thumbnail. I like doing this. It's one of the things I do on my channel, or that I enjoy doing, is I'm trying to explore being more creative, and graphics is a fun thing for me. So I tend to tinker with the thumbnails, and a lot of times I'll do the 3 thumbnail experiment where I can see which ones win. So these 2 videos, I definitely spent more time on the thumbnails. Similarly, I did spend a fair amount of time on the intro and the title I researched. But here's what happened. So again, looking at the vital statistic of reach, impressions, a couple thousand. The click-through rate is just it's not even close to what the other one was at its peak and what most of my videos are. So there's definitely something going on. And like I said, it got views. I'm happy for that. But it's not that I expect every video to really go gangbusters. I'm just trying to figure out what happened here. And this is the conclusion I came to. So the other thing, when I go down and I look, well, here, this was it. It was engagement. So when I look at engagement on this video, it's actually a similar story, but you can see it does drop pretty dramatically. And then right here, this is what I think is telling me something, is it actually hits a low and then people are skipping ahead. So something right in this intro, right about here, and I didn't know if you knew you could do this. If you look at this and you click on it, it actually shows you what part of the video really was losing folks. Here's what I think happened. So on this video, something about that same combination of a title that had a pretty good search rating and a thumbnail that I put work into, firstly, it didn't get the clicks. And I think probably I had, as much as the thumbnail is highly polished and might have a good visual appeal, I'm not sure that it matches what people are expecting from titles like this. So this, whereas the first video was about retiring early, this is about wasting time. And I believe folks are looking for a much more engaging personal video when they search for these things. And that thumbnail may actually look a little too polished. So that's one theory. The other, I might have overdone it in the intro on this video. I did some cutaways that I think just probably really killed it with the audience. It looked overly polished, so I lost them. I lost the audience, And the other thing that I hear from a lot of experienced YouTubers is that first few seconds are important as well because, when you're scrolling down through a video, they actually start to play even in silent mode, and people can see what's going on. So the whole experience just did not add up to what people were looking for. So what am I going to try next? And how can you help? Well, I've been following an approach called Kaizen, which is a continuous improvement methodology. And so for each time I create and publish videos, I'm following a standard process. And then after I publish the videos and see how they perform, I look for opportunities to learn and improve. Then I try experiments. So there's a lot of information out there from experienced YouTubers and just watching other channels where you can come up with ideas. And I try not to do too many at once, just an experiment or two every cycle. And once I try them, like I did with the keywords and the thumbnails and the intro in my last videos, I check out the results and I dive deep into the data like we just did. And then I decide what I'm going to try next based on the outcome. So what am I going to try next? Well, every week I am going to be publishing an update in this series of my Kaizen journey on what I've tried as my latest experiments and how they turned out. For these videos specifically, the one that's not doing so well, I've heard from some other experienced YouTubers who give advice that you can actually change the title and thumbnail on videos if they're underperforming, and sometimes that helps. It's like resurrecting a zombie video. So I think the thumbnail is the problem on that video, and I'm going to try a different one that's less polished and just a little bit more down to earth. The other thing is going forward, I have a couple of videos that are a little bit more casual style walk-in talks. And for those, I am definitely not going to be using any flashy B-roll footage that chops up the intro. I think when people click on something like that, they expect to see the person talking and not cutting away all the time. So I think I got carried away with that, so I'm going to change that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you're structuring your videos and whether you think the style and approach has a big difference in terms of views and impressions. So clearly, I am not the most experienced person on YouTube. Just getting started and I'm trying things. I'm trying to go about this again in my Kaizen way with a series of experiments and see what happens. The point is we can learn from each other. And so if you have thoughts on different types of experiments or things that you've tried or things that I might try, things that others might try, let's hear them, let's try it, and let's all connect together in another week and see how it went. I'll keep an eye on the comments and I'm going to start to make a list. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.